Welcome back into episode 29. I guess it's welcome back to me because I'm the one that's been away. Okay, so being away actually gives you some really good sort of perspective on the project, and what I find is that when I'm working on the car I just keep powering ahead. I don't really stop ever to think properly about what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to do it. So that week, 9 days, whatever it was that I wasn't here, has allowed me just to sort of think about things a bit more and a bit, what am I trying to achieve here? Why am I doing this? And what am I ultimately trying to get? And the more I think about it, I've come to the conclusion I don't want to just replace things with new. When does an old car become a different car? When I could replace every bit as I go along. Of course, you need to replace things that are broken. Certain bits you just have to, and certain bits are consumable. The oil filters and oil and all those sort of things. But there's many bits that I think the temptation is just to swap them out because I can. And I think thinking about it and sort of trying to work out what I want from this vehicle. What I want to do is try and restore the original car. Obviously, where there's bits that if I don't swap them now, it's going to be a pain in the butt, because the engine sits on top of it or something like that. Those I should logically replace. But things like, and I've not even looked yet, but for example, the suspension, the shock absorber, I'm tempted just to use it. If it seems serviceable, use it. It's easy enough to replace should it fail later on. It's quite straightforward to drop that out. I'm not afraid of a few hours work on to get things out. But I like the idea of restoring and keeping the car as original as possible, using those original bits. Many bits I can just swap out and whatever, but I don't think that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I think that's the way I'm generally going to go. Let's say getting a bit of distance from the car really lets you sort of think things through about what you're going to do next and how you're going to do it and why you're doing it, rather than the day-to-day, just undo that bolt, next bolt, next bolt. So that's really useful for me. So with this week's video, what I'm going to focus on is finishing off this front suspension. Shouldn't take much more now to drop the strut and the spring out, and then we can really see what we've got. I've got some coil compressors, or coil clamps. We can compress the spring down and take it all apart and just see what sort of state that's in. And I also treated myself to a few things while I was away, so we'll do a bit of unboxing in a second. But for the moment, let's just crack on and see where we get to. Okay, so there's my 3 presents to myself. That's standing on a screwdriver. Okay. So let's do the big one first. I've just cut the tape on here, so the 2 boxes come apart. So these are things that I need in the future. I know I need them, so I keep an eye on eBay and different sort of sites like that, and just sort of grab things when I can. You saw me get the the petrol tank cradle the other week, or probably a month ago now. So this, so if you can guess what it is yet, I think it's quite easy to guess. I need a little knife of some form. Maybe I don't. Really want to completely shred it because it will go back in its box for a while. We won't be ready for this for a little bit yet. This is too good not to pick up, so let's just rip it a little bit. I think I've got more bubble wrap somewhere. This is too good to miss, and these sort of things I think you need to grab when you can. They're not going to be around forever. It's quite unique, I think. Oh, okay. Right, we're going in. You can see exactly what that is now. There we go. So that is a original, unused 9/8 steering wheel. Now it's an S, so it's technically the wrong steering wheel for mine. Mine should be the 3-spoke one, but I think it's amazing when they put the 9/8 on the Boss like that. I love it. And it's completely unused. it's looking at it now, it is literally new. That's sat in someone's garage for many years. Let me give you a zoom in. So hopefully you can see the condition of that. It's literally, there's not even a fingerprint on it. Beautiful, amazing. I just sort of go around a little bit so you can see. But I'm pretty pleased with that. I kept looking at my steering wheel. I'll show you mine in a second actually for a bit of fun. You get the idea with that. The backside's just as clean. I don't think it's ever been on a car. You look at the back of the grips, it's absolutely new. So pleased with that. That was £300 I think, which when you actually think about it, it's not bad money. To get my original one recovered is going to be a couple £100 at least. So for the sake of maybe £100 more, I can get a brand new one. And it's the one with that 9 to 8 across the boss. Now, unfortunately, it's quite hard to show you the old wheel, but you can see the design. It's that 3-spoke, which I never liked. My 930 had the same steering wheel. This has got some weird cover on it because it's so badly coming apart. I think you can see the stitching there on the leather. It's completely shredded. But I mean, you know, I'll take it out and basically just sell it on eBay. It might be 50 quid or something like that. Which makes the original one, or the new one, so much cheaper. So next up on the unboxing, another speculative buy that I know I'm going to need in the future. Let me get this. I think it's 2 boxes separate of it, isn't it? Right, let's have a quick look. Yeah, 2 boxes. Let's do one. See what we want. It's probably up that way. So these again, it's something you can't get very easily, but you can if you want to pay through the nose for it. I'm hoping I've got the right thing. Let's have a look. You can probably guess what it is by now. Definitely by now. I'll just take one out so we can see what they're like. They're both identical. So, headlights. Mine are pretty scrambled. They're cracked, there's water ingression in them, all sorts of problems. These are pretty much as new headlights. I'll give you a zoom around mine. These were something like 140 for the pair, which I think is really, really good. You know, they're £600, something like that, to get replacements for those. So that is really good actually. I'll give you a look at my current one so you can see what I've upgraded from. But yeah, really pleased with those. I'll get the other one out later just to double check, but looking nice. That's my original headlight. And you look in the, just sort of behind the lens, you can see where the reflective coatings sort of come away. It's all started to rust. I think this one is the one with the lens that actually is loose, so it's cracked, the glass. So I mean, I had to replace it anyway. Let's look at the other one. This one's, it's really similar. You can see the reflective coating's gone. I'm not sure which one's got the cracked lens, but either way, they're of no use anymore. So they'll probably, I'll put them on eBay, they're probably going in the bin if not. There might be some of the connectors might be useful to someone. So the last box to undo is this black one. Now this, I've not actually checked, but I left this with the guy that supplied the these Jubilee clips that I keep trying to get, and I'm hoping this is from him. It kind of has to be because I don't remember ordering much else, but there is a bit of a stream of things coming to this house, so it could be anything. Makes it kind of a bit more exciting, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Wow, he's used what feels like an entire reel of electrician tape on this. Maybe we're in. can see I spoiled it. I can see what it is. It's very tight. Whatever tape he's using, I want that. That is strong tape. Okay, so let's have a look at one of these. That's a box of those. They were the old ones that were just too big. This is looking promising. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay, good. This is really hard to get hold of in the end because they're 9mm round across. Most of them are much wider. And just trying to find the right size. Everyone seems to want to sell you these, which are, I think these are 50 to 70 and these are 40 to 60mm. It makes a big difference. So I can now reassemble the top part of the engine. Well, obviously still waiting for the fueling to go in there, but that does allow me to put the was it plenum chamber, I think we call it, with all of these little rubber stoppers on. But first, I won't bother for the minute. Just knowing that I've got these Jubilee clips is enough. So really pleased with that. That's another win. 3 wins. So returning back to this front suspension, what I really want to do is get this knuckle off. So I've got these 2 bolts to undo, that one there and that one there. They're pretty tricky to undo. Mostly because it all turns as I try and undo them. So I'm going to heat them up a bit, see if we can get those undone. That then means this sort of upper control arm and the lower control arm can come out the way. I can take them away from the car and clean them up properly. And then obviously the actual strut itself can come out. I think I should be able to get the strut out anyway, but I'm leaving it in there really just as a bit of support. So let's try and get these 2 undone. I'm going to apply a bit of heat and see how we do with that. Okay, top one first, this one here. Let's get a bit of heat on it. There's a kind of rubber there that I don't really want to burn, but I'm not going to be able to avoid it, I think. Let's try. Right, this should be pretty hot. Little taps, let it know that we're there. Then, let's see if we can get it undone. Use a combination of spanners to stop it turning the whole knuckle. No. It doesn't want to turn. It doesn't want to turn. Well, I've had another good solid go at this. I can't get those undone. I've applied a lot of heat. I think what I need to do is reassemble them. When I've got the wheel back on, and actually the weight of the car, I can then get them undone if I need to. Shout if you believe I need to get those undone. I don't know if I need them undone or not. I was just kind of undoing everything. I think so. What I'm going to do is leave those for the moment. I'm going to go back to getting the shock out. That definitely needs to come out. I want to sort of, undercoat and rust seal the entire wheel arch anyway, and I can't do where that mounts onto the top, and it needs a clean up. But I think I can get that out without having to take this, it's called a knuckle, without taking that off. So let's go back to just removing everything else. So we've got the lower control arm. Now that connects here. I've got those undone. It's not coming free, so I need to have a look at why. I thought it would just drop down from now. Maybe a couple of taps of the hammer. Hammer up the right way. Actually, a block of wood it as well. This one's aluminium, which we don't need to break. That's the bottom of that control arm. So these nuts are undone. There are these things which I think I need to mark these so I put them back in the same location and then I can take them off, I think. So let's do that and just double check. Obviously the other end, you can't see it. The other end of the control arm is ready to come off. That's completely undone. So it'll be just getting this off and then that whole lump will come away. I'll zoom you out a little bit. Then this suspension can just drop straight down. This here, I might be able to get it out without taking it off, but I think it's worth trying to get that off first. Okay, so I've managed to get one of these sort of concentric, I don't know what you call it, a washer or a spacers. It kind of locks the this into positions. So one of them's off. The other one's putting a fight up. And I'm just tapping it with a cold chisel to try and sort of turn it round. I can't tell which way it's supposed to go is the main problem. It's moved in one direction. I'm going to tap it back the other way because I think I've probably just tightened it up. I think that bottom bolt and sort of cam needs a little bit of research. That may not come out. I think it must do to get all this undone, but I'm just wondering whether the cross member lifts up. So let's now take out the there you go. Right. Okay, so that's the other cam off now. You can kind of see how they work. You put it in and turn it and it forces itself where it gets wider, forces itself in, sort of locking everything in place. Right, so we've got one bolt holding in this lower control arm. It's over here. I take that off. It should just drop down. What I want to do is put the suspension one back in so I don't lose that and know where that was. There we are, all apart. Good. So I can take that out to one side and clean it up. If there's anything rubberized on that, I can see a couple of bits so we can replace those. That leaves this knuckle. There's two bolts I cannot undo, so I'm going to have to work out what to do with those. There's a ball joint here, I need to inspect that, a ball joint at the top. It's actually very smooth. So if I'm lucky that doesn't need replacing anyway. And the suspension arm, strut. So let's take that down now. I believe I should be able to lift this whole upper control arm should lift up, I believe. That's holding that down. So my understanding was that I lift this up and the suspension strut can then drop through. Now that feels like it's sort of spring loaded in place. I think it's just the suspension holding it there. Okay, let's undo those 4 bolts at the top, 3 bolts at the top. The last bolt I'm coming undone now on the suspension. I'm guessing that'll just drop down in a second. Slightly. Right, the bolts are undone. Now, I guess they've been off fairly recently, because that didn't take a lot of work to get undone. Let's have a look. I'd ever say it just drops down, but it's certainly loose. I don't think there's anything else holding it. It doesn't seem to be. I think it's just a matter of negotiating with it. Enough. Yeah, right, you want to come. So as you can see by jacking up, that is now, you should be able to see a bit of daylight, so it's just dropped it down, so I should be able to manoeuvre that out now. I think you can sort of unwind it, twist it round so the spring sort of just unthreads itself through there. Can't believe the camera battery went flat just as I was managing to get it out. So there it is on the floor. I think you can probably just get you focused. You can see the condition. There's a bit of rust here. A little bit of rust on the support of this spring there. It isn't horrific, to be honest, from what I'm looking at. I think I'll disassemble it. The top part of the mount is pretty corroded, you can see there. So I'm not in a very good position to sort of give you a good view all the way around. It isn't awful though. Yeah, of course this bit here is rusty. The bottom here is, you know, obviously needs to tidy up. But let's take it apart and we'll see what we're dealing with. So up here, the actual, in the wheel arch itself, so there's the top part that I wanted to deal with. That was the main reason I wanted to get the strut out. The back, you can see that back support there. Bit on the rusty side. Just generally it needs a bit of a tidied up, get the rust out. I don't know whether I can take this out, the upper control arm. Probably can. There's bolts on the inside that I think I've already undone actually. But I think that'd be quite good to get out because that's, I don't know what it is. It's probably aluminium there, but sorry, I was pointing at the wrong bit. It's probably aluminium there, but there's rusts from from everything else around it probably. Good to get it out though. Good to be able to get really good sort of solid access to everything. Disappointed I can't get this knuckle undone. I would like that off. I'd like to sandblast it. I've actually bought some sandblasting medium. I've got a sandblaster already. I've never tried it out, so it'd be really good to try that out on things like this knuckle and stuff. I can't try it on the suspension really. The spring itself, I think I should go and get powder coated, so it's you know, a flexible coating on there. I think that's probably what it had to start with. But we'll tidy it up first and just sort of see what state it's in. I can't tell. Yeah, it's got a bit of rust on it, so it probably needs doing to some form. Good progress though, pleased with that. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to get time for this week. Getting that suspension strut out took a lot longer than I expected. It's not straightforward. Even when lifting up the upper control arm, it doesn't fit. You have to really waggle it and twist it out. And then when you get to the last part, the top part of the suspension, it's even bigger. And it took me quite a long time trying to negotiate that through without breaking stuff and things. But that's pretty much stripped down. The knuckle is still there. I can't get those bolts undone. Please let me know if you think I really should get that undone and replace those ball joints. They seem okay to me. They're very smooth. The rubbers are all intact. But leave a comment if I should be getting out. But with that completely stripped out now, I can treat any rust in there and under seal it and sort of you know, protect the wheel arch, and then we can start looking at putting things together. I think videos will slow down probably for the next month or so because the kids are off from school and I have to do a bit of childcare and stuff. But, so next week I'm going to probably strip the other side suspension. I think I want to get the spring powder coated, and it makes sense if I do them both at the same time. So I'll strip that down. I know how to do it a little bit easier now by leaving a lot of the bolts in place, so I can apply some torque and actually undo things. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably disassemble the spring so we can have a look in there and see what that is all about. I've got lots of jobs like these sort of things that need tidying up. The anti-roll bar needs tidying up. All of this stuff needs spraying and sort of sorting out. If I'm getting things powder coated, I'll probably get the anti-roll bar done at the same time, and maybe, you know, a few brackets here and there. So that's all we're going to have time for. As ever, thank you for watching. Really appreciate you guys following me with this journey. Click the old subscribe button so you know what's going on. Supports me on the channel, and I'll see you next time.